right.
Well,
welcome back.
It don't stop on its own. I thought it was supposed to stop on its own.
I was hoping for a fade out.
I don't know. It's nothing.
Something.
Yeah, that's what you just kind of abruptly cut me off there.
And I was like, what?
Welcome back to Southern Tulane.
Welcome back. There we go. Now we can do it. There we go. We'll get this down.
All right. all right.
Technology.
It's good stuff. There we go.
All right.
Now start over. Here we go. I'll
What's
edit that
up,
part.
Buck and Randy?
Buck and Randy B. What's going on?
I think I got a whisker in my mouth.
That kind of made
There it
me
is.
gag a little bit.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Hey, fellas.
I had a cat named Whisker.
What's
You had
new?
a
What's
cat?
popping?
We went from hell freezing over to hell thawing out.
Yeah. You know what I've been digging the past couple days? There's like 6 days a year when I can utilize the sunroof and moonroof in my truck that I paid so dearly for, and that's been the past couple days.
Well,
I've been digging it.
got you.
Been digging it.
Got you.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
been
it.
nice.
I like to open it up. But when the rest of the fam is with me, any of them, one or all, they don't like it.
They don't like it.
Yeah, wind's blowing. Oh my God, the wind's blowing. It's going to get my hair. It's in my face. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I like it.
I do too. My Toyota Tundra that I used to have had that full back glass go down. And
those
that
were
was,
nice.
that was phenomenal. I enjoyed that.
I think I read somewhere you're not supposed to ride with the back glass open. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, if it
You're
was
just
a
supposed to sit still with the back glass open.
I mean, to me, it's kind of nice.
you let that Tundra window down and roll down the front windows, and buddy, you're chunking
Getting
some
some
air
in.
through there. Yeah,
Y'all got that feature where you can like double tap or triple tap and it'll automatically roll down your windows?
I think so. I've never used it, but I think I do.
yeah. It's a setting on the GMCs you have to program, but
Hot summer day, that's nice.
oh, it is. It is. The 24, 23 and olders, you hold down the unlock button for like 10 seconds, and the mirrors will open and the windows will go down. On the 24s, and I assume 25s will be the same, you have to double hit the unlock button and hold it down. But yeah, it does that. So it's fantastic. All right, guys, we are back. It is Wednesday, February the 5th, and lots of things have happened over the last, 7 days since we did the last, and we just kind of brushed over the drop and some other stuff. But it is, it's all out there now, all the colors, all the sizes and the shapes and opinions. And so I figured tonight we might as well, dive in there and give our opinion of the full lineup. I know we've talked and we'll probably hit some of the same points, but I may or may not have a dissertation of information that I have put together, and I think it's going to make some good talking points, and we'll criticize Harley, and we might give him a little praise, and apparently we're all going to be waiting until next year because it's dead now for this year. Some say there may be a 25.5, but I just don't see that at all.
How often have they done the mid-year drops?
One that I know of.
More than once.
Well, it has, yes, but like one in the last, 10?
I don't know. I don't know. So it's not something I've followed that closely. So what you're telling me is that tonight we are going to do our obligatory commentary on Harley's release.
That would be it. Yes.
Great.
Got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to break it down. But before we do, I want to ask you guys a question.
Good, because I got one for you when you're done.
All right. This past weekend, it was sunny and for the most part in 70, 75 degrees.
All right.
Now, according to, I think it was Joe Nichols, sunny and 75 makes a song. Mm-hmm. So did you guys ride?
I did.
All right.
Did not.
Yeah.
At all?
The door's right there. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord splits you on the way out.
Yeah. had a
Take the hat back. Take the cards back.
Come on. No, but I had a good reason why I didn't. I only get my son every other weekend during the school year.
He's gonna throw the sun the card. I see how he's gonna do that.
Now y'all gonna feel bad. No,
Yeah,
you won't.
now
You
we
won't
get to feel bad for
No, and I also had to work Friday night and Saturday night. Saturday night I was there until after 3 a.m. So I slept in and chose on Sunday to spend the day with my son.
I mean, that's not a horrible thing. Definitely, for sure. I get the whole split families, and
Yeah.
it's tough.
Now, I could have thrown him on the back of the bike. I've got a helmet that'll fit him. And he has ridden with me once before, kind of, he's 15. He doesn't really. No, we're recording.
I feel like that light's supposed to be a lot brighter, though.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Buck
Sorry.
Owens is going to get up and go turn it on for us.
I will. The first time,
Got sidetracked.
the first and only time he's ridden with me, though, I think it scared him pretty good because he's kind of he's a self-proclaimed computer nerd.
Yeah.
And he's one of those that when the windows are down, he doesn't like it blowing his hair. So,
So he's one like mine. Just hey, the wind's blowing.
yeah.
I'm like kind of what happens when the window's down.
So that's why I didn't ride.
I got you.
Got you. Okay.
Light time.
My son's ridden with me a few times. That there was one time I can remember. I went with Randy and Jeremy. We rode up to Gunnersville and we were on our way home that night, and it got cold. And I've got enough gear, and of course, I've got a heated seat. I've got heated grips. I'm fine, but he was not prepared for that, and I don't have adequate gear for him. And
That equated to a poor experience.
well, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It was just we had to have a conversation that went like, you just gonna have to suck it up. We're gonna be home shortly. We on the way, but
Suck it up, buttercup.
yeah,
That's one of the
he's
things
ridden
on.
with me a couple times.
Yeah,
times.
well, I can't get any of mine to ride, so it.
Yours are a little older.
Well, they are. Well, I'll take that back. After I first bought the Street Glide, Tanner was at basketball practice, and he just told me over and over again, "No, I don't want to ride. No, I don't want to ride." And his mom's anti-motorcycle, so one day I rode it to pick him up. Didn't have a choice, and rode home, and it was okay. Like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought, kind of scenario. But there's never been another time since where he said, "Hey, let's go for a ride," or something. So, yeah, it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I got out for a few minutes, rode around the block, and then speaking of that same son, they were having what do they call it? Winter formal. So all the ladies want to take the guys and go do their pictures for winter formal, like homecoming.
Yeah,
So we went down to a place in Birmingham where they wanted to take pictures. And so I was going to ride there. And then I thought, well, I wasn't prepared again for cold, so myself, didn't have enough stuff packed. And I said, it's going to be 6:30 or 7 before we're done. And I'm headed home in the dark. I'll go back home and get the truck. So I literally rode around the block and came back and got the truck. So,
Yeah.
but I got to hear it and smell it for a minute, and that was good.
yeah. I rode Saturday. I rode to lunch. Sat and ate lunch. Invited Chris to go. He wasn't interested.
I could have got you some Chick-fil-A sandwiches if you had come down to the Hoover Met where we were
Yeah, I looked. You were playing ball or
Yeah, it was.
something. I don't know what you were doing.
playing umpire.
Yeah, learning how to be an umpire. Right.
That is a forever in, that's, you never, So we'll get into that.
Well,
You go ahead.
Saturday
finish yours
was a little
first.
cooler
Yeah.
than it felt good off the bike. Good enough off the bike.
The
to make
wind
you
is
think,
still cold.
all right, this is going to be great. And then you get on the bike, head about 3 miles down the road. You're like, yeah, it's a little brisk yet.
Probably should have brought another jacket.
So I ended up coming home. You know, we rode the end of the year ride or last ride of the year, whatever they coined that. And coolant light came on, check engine light came on. I rode all the way back to Birmingham, and you know, it was fine. Assumed it was a water pump. Bought a new water pump, put the water pump on it. I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and hadn't had a chance to get it out and test it. But Saturday, when I decided it's a little cool to just be out joyriding, I went home and got it and thought, okay, I've changed the water pump. I'm going to pedal around and see if it worked. Well, light came on. So, well, crap. Then the light went off. And I thought, okay, well, maybe, just fluke or something. Just needed to burp itself or
Not
something.
seeing the light tends to make you feel good.
Yeah.
But when you don't have a reason for it to go off.
Well, I left the house and I rode about, it's probably 5 miles down Sardis Road to
Right.
get to the end, right? By the time I got to the end, the light had come on, and I turned around there at the little local Digi. By the time I got out of their parking lot, the light had gone off.
Again.
Off again. So I thought, okay, this is, interesting. Obviously, the coolant pump's working. I went all the way down the road, got to Mount Olive, went all the way down Mount Olive, all the way down Barber Boulevard, got back to 31, no light, it's fine. Okay, I got on 31, I'm going to open it up, see what's what. And so I hammered down on it and got up to about slightly above, I don't know, I was pushing 90 or so. And light came back on. I thought, okay, well, that got me thinking that maybe it was a tuning issue. Because, if it's not tuned properly, it causes too much heat,
Right.
this kind of thing. And there's a backstory. Y'all can go back episodes back, probably catch up on the backstory on that trike and the tuning stuff going on there.
That
But
was a year-long project, almost.
it was. Anyway, pulled off the gas station, shut it down, popped the cap on the reservoir to, check the reservoir, make sure, everything's fine. Light goes off. I pull out. I go home. No light. So, that led me down a bumfuzzled path of what's going on here. And did you know that if you stand on your head and look up inside that radiator, that lower fairing, like you got to stand on your head and look up at about the 2 o'clock position.
Right.
There's a radiator cap.
Yeah.
Well, you crank that hose down and you take the radiator cap off, and the reservoir was at its full mark, but the radiator wasn't full. It was weird to me, but
Okay.
anyway, I added about a cup of coolant.
Yeah, because it don't hold a lot.
It holds like 2 quarts total.
Well, what's in the lines and the engine and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yes.
Yeah. So
But the little
once I
reservoir-
got everything filled up, I and here's a cute little trick. If you turn your switch on, roll the throttle past 50% and hold it for a few seconds, it turns on the cooling system, cooling fan and water pump.
That's
Come
correct.
on.
Yeah.
And so you can burp it that way. I cycled that a couple of times and seemed to clear everything up, which left me thinking maybe that was the problem the whole time. Like it was just low on coolant. But I didn't check it. I mean, we rode all the damn way to Mobile, and it was fine.
Yeah, I mean,
So I thought, something's
it's got to be wrong.
it's got an immediate something has
Right.
happened, which anyway, seems to be fine now. I've done some more riding on it. It no more light. Maybe we're all good.
Maybe.
Well,
Hope so.
the old cliche, only time will tell. Well, I guess we should change that to only mileage will tell. But it's kind of odd that, unlike an auto, really those bikes don't have a lot of maintenance on that cooling system. It's the coolant system. Like you don't hear a lot of it. Like check your oil, do a 3-hole, and check your
Well,
coolant.
I mean, it's just a little pissing electric pump that pumps the coolant through just through the heads.
Yep.
You know, it's just electrical switches. It's not like you got a fan clutch and that kind of stuff like a car. But you know, so I want to know if you remember life before you knew there was a such thing as a Mako Shark Fade Harley. Let me elaborate. Do you remember how simple life was then?
How less expensive it was.
How fewer damns you gave about what the motor company's releasing.
You know, I will tell you my existence with Harley Davidson, because all of my bikes that I owned prior to the last however many years I've now had Harley was foreign bikes. You know, street bikes, but because I never owned a crotch rocket, but they were not. So this is my first tour of duty with Harley. So outside of just visiting a Harley store, an outpost, and Jamaica or Honduras, where it was there at the cruise ship port, and buying a T-shirt. No, I never knew when they released them. I never knew what they released.
Even before these bikes you've got now, and you had the Street Glide, and then you bought the Ultra Limited.
Yep.
And neither one of those were new bikes. And
No.
I don't remember then you being as in tune.
No. But it's the
I
same
doubt
thing
you
about
knew anybody at the dealership's name.
I'd never even, I knew where it was because I went by there all the time, but never stopped in there.
And I just got to thinking the other day,
It's a good question.
you know,
It's fair.
When did we become so
Engulfed or
engulfed
yeah.
and enthralled and just owned? And why do we care?
I don't know if it's a why do we care. I think it's what's relevant at the moment. It's what we're doing, which could last for a long time, or it could come to an end and soon. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I mean,
You and I have had the conversation before. I know, like, I so envy the guy that's just got his bike. He's just got his
oh yeah. Yeah, he just gets on it and goes, comes home, puts it back in the shop.
04 Dyna, and he just rides it, and
Yep.
he just goes and does, and he don't care about the new cam that's out. He don't care about the new exhaust on the market. He don't know that they don't still make his Dyna.
And that what he's got in it is all they make for it.
Yeah.
I mean, other than maybe walking a dealership. I mean, there's guys at the rallies that are that way. I mean, even though
They
they
are.
see all that stuff, they're
Not even phased by it.
No, they're not. They're there for the food, the riding, the
fun.
partying, the fun, whatever you want to call it. They don't. Some of them may go to destination and walk around, but not a lot of them.
Yeah, I envy that guy, and
Yeah.
I've decided I might just make some step towards identifying
Yeah,
as that guy.
Well, let me tell you. Look,
Forget everything you know.
Here's where we're
Right.
at. I can't even be in a restaurant, in a business meeting I was in the other day, and somebody mentioned something about this and said, I wonder what, and I just rattled off statistics about cams and this, that, and the other, and I got the head turned, oh, you must ride. And I was like, oh my God, did I just say all that? Like I used to say it about movies, I am a walking book of worthless information.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
Prior to purchasing my Road King, I had never stepped foot in a Harley dealership. Here's why. I knew that if I walked into a Harley dealership, I would get bitten by the bug.
Yeah.
And I'd have to walk out with something. And I was just never in a place, whether it was financial or had all my stuff together to be able to go in and
Make the purchase.
write that check. Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that. I was, however, at a much younger age, I was bitten. I knew there would be a time in my life when there would be a Harley in the garage, and I would be riding. But there was certainly it was a ways into my life before I could. I mean, let's face it. Having a Harley Davidson requires some disposable income.
It does.
I either didn't have that, or didn't have the space to keep it, or it just, life was too busy. I didn't have time to enjoy it, or whatever the case might have been. But yeah, I can respect that.
It was that way early on. I owned some of my first motorcycles were really more practical ownerships than they were for pleasure.
Same.
I had an old Ford truck that was really not very dependable, but could be driven when needed. But I drove mine back and forth to work. It got good gas mileage, and it was almost seemed bulletproof. It was a KZ 650, and then I upgraded to an 1100. And then I think I upgraded to one more after that. But it was farming. And I went to Thunder Beach a few times down in Panama City with it, but it wasn't under the same, pretense. It's more along the lines of the whole party scene. It was, even though I didn't do tons of partying, it was more that what that was about then than doing any kind of upgrades or parts looking or shopping and stuff like that. It's definitely a different world this time around for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And I'm no different with fishing, with boats. I envy the guy that just got a boat out there. He just goes out on the lake and paddles around, whether it's a flat bottom, a John boat, or nowadays it's kayaks and canoes, and they're just fishing and enjoying it. And I thought, man, I could probably just do the kayak and save myself a lot of heartache and headache.
Ain't nothing like, walking back to your truck, seeing that big fancy bass cat behind it, and crawling in, knowing you just got your asses handed to you by a guy in an 18-foot tracker.
That's right. That's right. And trust me, it's happened. It's happened a couple times. So, oh Lord.
All right. So back to here we go.
Yeah. So
before we get into this,
before we get off into this, because we're already about 15 minutes or more into our little cast.
Looks like 27 minutes.
Are we 27 minutes? All right, you can see.
It's fine. There ain't that much to talk about.
No,
Carry
it's
on.
not.
Release.
All right. So,
do we have a drum roll hot button?
Do we? Let's see. Do we have a drum roll hot button? Let's see.
Gotta be. How do you make a mixing board without a drum roll?
I don't think we do. We got.
I bet you can download one.
Let's be. Oh, I could. I've got at some point, I'm going to mess with this board.
Okay.
So those of you that's not watching and you're just listening, we've got a Rodecaster Pro 2 that we're using, and I've had it. We've done a few episodes off of it, but I just haven't had time to sit down and really upload.
Tinker?
I can upload all kinds of sounds and stuff. Need to do that.
Okay.
So, and it has the ability to actually record if we were just doing sound or audio only. But since we're doing, video, obviously that changes everything. So, all right. So this is Southern Two Lane's take on the 2025 Harley Davidson model releases. They have made two releases. One was the early in the year where they did their carryover models. Those of you that not sure what that is, the carryover models means there was no change other than paint. Mm-hmm. Those were easy for them to throw some new paint on the hardware and the body parts and throw them into the dealerships. And probably if they sold any of them, it was bonus money because all the rest of it was probably already paid for. To some degree. And then on the 22nd or 23rd,
somewhere in there, yeah,
they dropped all of their change bikes, which had maybe something more than just paint, and or they're more higher end bikes, which would be including but not limited to your CVO models, some of your Grand Touring models, and your Tri-Glides. It was a full release, basically.
Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they split up hey, here's the stuff that you're expecting, and
it's the same reason that a furniture store has going out of business sales 10 times a year. It brings in, it gets attention. It brings people in, anticipation, so other things of that nature.
Fair enough.
All right. So on the list, I have number one to discuss and I'm going to read statistics and y'all can be the color commentators. No pun on the color part, because that's part of one of the first things to talk about. Number one, the 2025 Tri-Glide Ultra base model starts out at $37,999. They have chrome versions and blacked out versions. Now, nothing, and I have my the 2025 catalog here, which will have some pictures. All of you obviously can go to your websites and see the same things. But everything on the Tri-Glide Ultra is old.
False.
Okay. What's new?
The Tri-Glide Ultra is now available in black trim options. This is the first year for that. And we got new wheels.
So you are correct. So let me restate, I guess, clarify what I said.
All right. You get a second chance. Get it correct this time.
All of the body parts.
Correct. There's no new technology. There's no new body
technology.
work.
The lower fairings, the fairing, upper fairing.
I assume it's still the 114.
It is a 114.
Yeah.
They still have about 300,000 of them on the shelf, and they're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So they're using them in the Tri-Glides and the, what else?
Road King.
Road King.
A road.
So the Road King Special has a 114.
It does now.
But they did do some nice things with the colors. The chrome comes in billiard gray, Iron Horse metallic, mystic purple, whiskey fire, vivid black. That seems to be the new overall color, is the whiskey fire vivid black. And although reading it sounds like that's just orange and black, it really looks good on about everything I saw it on.
Yeah.
Even
that's a good looking paint scheme.
Even the street bikes, the sport bikes, where really the only thing's painted is the tank. It looked pretty good. The Atlas Silver Metallic looks a lot like the 2023 Platinum, a little more silvery. But yeah, outside of that, not a ton of changes to the Tri-Glide, but to your point, the wheels and the blacked out version does give it a little different look, and I guess if you're looking for a new one, that could entice you.
Yeah.
Meh. Okay. And of course,
Good job, marketing
the three, yeah, exactly. What is that's what one of our so the 3-wheeler Road Glide 3 and the Freewheeler Tri-Glide Ultra all have the 3 wheels, and they all come are out this year. But even all of them have the same bodywork and fairings and engines and stuff. They did nothing new on any of that stuff.
Nice.
So
okay, yeah, I agree with you. Let's use up this stockpile of Road Glide fairings we've got sitting around.
So that one's pretty easy. Now we get into probably a little bit more fun stuff. And that fun stuff is, if my thing will stroll here, is the Grand Touring lineup. And number one on my list is the Road King. Same bike for years. Starts out at $25,749. Has a 114. Overall, it looks like it's kind of basic. It looks like they've went with the stretch bags on this one, since they're calling it the Special. Which typically in years past was left for CVO models or special models. So I guess this is considered a special model, and it got stretched bags.
Yeah, the Road King is just iconic Harley Davidson. It's gotten a lot of criticism as of late because of the pricing on it. For just a touch more, you pick up the fairing. But yeah, I think the people that love the Road Kings don't want the fairing. I learned a valuable lesson years ago. I was talking to a guy that worked in some development department at GM, And at the time, I was in the market for a new truck, and I got to looking, and at the time, it was the S10. You had the S10s and Silverados, and the price difference between the S10 and Silverado were very minimal.
Yeah.
Like for equally equipped, if you're looking leather seats and
Apples and apples, orange and
apples
oranges,
to
so to
apples,
speak.
orange or whatever, the prices were very similar. I was like, why would anybody buy that?
small
And it was
truck.
like, well, some people just prefer it, but the reason that the pricing is so comparable is because so much of the price is labor.
Sure.
And so, yes, it's a smaller body, or in this scenario, it doesn't have a fairing, doesn't have a radio. But how much time do you really save assembling this bike or manufacturing this bike by not putting that on there? So much of the wiring harness is going to be the same. The motor's the same. Exhaust the same. Bags the same. Seats the same. Frames the same. That whole assembly process is the same, minus these few components, and it probably doesn't even shave any time off of the assembly.
No, because I would imagine that the fairing that's on the Street Glide and the Road Glide probably are put together somewhere, and then they just go onto the bike when it's time and bolt into place and then plug and play.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So you're not missing anything as far as, hey, because it's a Road King, don't have a fairing, we didn't have to do this.
yeah. So I don't hate Harley for, the fact that the Road King is so close in price to the Street Glide. I kind of get that. But I do think that's what has resulted in the Road King losing some popularity, because, if you get an outgoing model year, the price is just so similar. And I feel like you do gain a lot of, more wind protection and maybe a little better styling, more options, and, certainly your radio, navigation.
A little bit of storage, not tons, but a little bit.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of value in the fairing to be gained for the few $1,000s in the upgrade.
Well, the basic models are $2,000 even difference from a Street Glide to a
To a King?
to a King,
Wow.
$2,000.
I would have expected more, but
Yeah,
again, there you go, to the point.
yeah. So, Mr. Kingman over there, Buck, what do you you have one, and
What say you, Bucko?
yeah, what do you have you got a chance to look at them, and how do they compare to yours, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I guess this is the first year that they've put the 114 as standard, right? You could purchase a special in years past with the 114. Mine has the 114. So everything I hear, everything I read, that 114 is a good motor. It's kind of the standard now, the base standard, right? So and that M8 engine 114, yeah, she purrs, but I'm disappointed in the lack of everything's the same. Even down to the speedo,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Upgrade it, give me a little more tech,
That's why I think there's got to be,
and you got 3 color options.
and that's it.
I mean, come on.
Everything else says a minimum of like 5.
Yeah, right.
And this one, they had 3 color options, and they're basic colors.
Yeah.
It's like a brilliant red. I don't. Is that one of the?
Yeah,
it's billiard gray, vivid black, and whiskey fire.
Yeah, yeah. That whiskey fire. I see it as more of
Yeah.
a red than a.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Well, and the brilliant red on the website and the whiskey fire almost look like the same bike.
Yeah,
They're really
I
close.
haven't really noticed that, but and that gray. What do they call it?
The billiard gray.
Billiard gray. See, mine's billiard burgundy.
Yeah, that's right.
We've talked about that, but
The number 7 pool ball
yep.
is it 5?
and the
5,
15.
5 or 7 or 15?
and the 15.
It's the 15. Then it's billiard.
There's two.
Billiard
If you think about
burgundies.
if you think
There
about
is.
it, you got the solids and stripes.
bigs and littles.
Yeah. So the 7 and the 15.
Is it the 7 or the 5?
Sure. I don't know. I don't play pool.
John Woody?
He'll know.
All right. I just gave him a little shout out there. He can, when he's going to be in his truck, when he listens to it, then he'll shout out which one it is.
Yeah,
he'll text us all in the group and tell
He
us. Which
will.
one.
And you know, he's going to text the group and go, why didn't y'all talk about this? Because he's been blowing us up on text messages.
I asked him to come join us.
I wish he would.
He said he said he might need to keep his distance after the DEI podcast. So.
Yeah, that was a lot, but we could steam yard him in sometime.
Yep.
But that gray is just very underwhelming, and it's not attractive. And yeah, I wish they would give the Road King some love.
Well, I think yeah, it is, and I think there's going to be some. I mean, they know they can't keep coming out with the exact same models over and over. At some point, they've got to change it. I think the Breakout is not a lot different. The Fat Boy is not a lot different. Now they do get the bigger motor, and they made some changes a couple 3 years ago. But yeah, the Road King, poor Road King. And back to your point, DJ, I think one of the things that keeps people buying the King potentially is you have some of the old school bikers because when I test rode the Breakout, a few back last August. I remembered it. It's been a long time since I have ridden a bike without a fairing, but my mind went back to the days of riding with no fairing, no saddlebags, and you know what? I will just go ahead and say what I thought was a real motorcycle back then, and it really took me back. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the guys that own a King and that's like King owners from like way back, down the years, that's one of the reasons they like it. They get that feeling up front of old school bike, but they've got the saddlebags and they can travel a little bit with them, put a few things in there in storage, but they get that old school biker kind of look, feel when you're riding it. I mean, I guess I haven't heard anybody say, but I would have to imagine.
I don't know, but I will say I eat a lot of wind. Now that windshield helps, but it doesn't help nearly as much as a full fairing.
Yeah. Well, I will say that the windshields and the fairings have become more and more popular with really all bikes because they all just about offer an option for that. But even so much more, we talked last week how the LRS and the LRST have replaced a lot of the old Glide version Dyna bikes. And now they're really, it's got the little fairing on the LRS, but the LRST has got, really a full-blown fairing on it. Mm-hmm. And it's got saddlebags on it. So, I mean, they're catering towards the guys that want to travel a little bit. I mean, so anyway, that even, and we'll go over that in a minute, but that even more so makes the Road King without some of that stuff with no changes a little odd.
I was just looking this up because I was curious. They didn't even change the wheels.
Nope.
Same rims.
No, it is. It's everything about the bike's the same that I could see on my end, and I didn't break everything down. But all right, so Street Glide, Road Glide. This is kind of a combo right here. Street Glide starts out at $27,749, and the Road Glide $250 more at $27,999. Unchanged for the most part from the 23.5 to the 24s. There were some colors added. You've got the Billiard Gray, the Atlas Silver. I am marking it like the Platinum in 2023. It's a little more silvery color, a little brighter.
Yeah, a little brighter.
But it's got that same pinstriping on it that the Platinum had it. Brilliant Red. I can't remember what they called the old reds, but it's pretty sharp color red. So if it's new, then good on that. But Vivid Black, Iron Horse, Metallic, that's new. Mystic Shift, that's new. And Blue Burst, they've had that Blue Burst around for a couple of years, and it's just kind of a royal blue in my opinion.
Yeah,
and a little pop to it.
Yeah, red is that's a hard color because you either got your, people dream about that candy red sports car or whatever. Red's a polarizing one because you're either going to really like it or you're going to hate it because it's not the right shade of red.
Right.
And that's also how I feel about blue. If it's not the right hue of blue, I'm just I'll pass.
Yeah. I mean, DJ's got a pattern with his bikes. He likes gray and silver.
Can't go wrong with it.
No, it's. I I won't say neutral, but it kind of is neutral. It's like black and white. It's you've got them on your bike, and you like I've always said, I go to the dealership and I'll see these burgundy, trucks when I buy a new one, and I'm like, man, that looks good, but I think after about 6 months, I'd be tired of driving it. Mm-hmm. Or blue or green or.
So there is a new Road Glide that I saw on the showroom floor that was like a gunmetal blue. Which one is it?
If it's that would probably have to be the Iron Horse metallic.
Okay.
Kind of a deeper.
It's sharp. I like it. It looks very similar to the charged steel.
Yes, that's it.
On my bike.
That one's getting a lot of positive throughout the forums that I've looked at.
It's a sharp color.
They've done well on some of the other colors. So the blacked out version of these bikes, they're offering the Whiskey Firestorm, which is pretty cool. I like the way it looks, and the Purple Abyss Denim. It's more of a matte color, and a Brilliant Red. Mm-hmm. So there's some new colors there. The
correct me if I'm wrong, but there's quite a bit of difference in price on some of those paint jobs, right?
Yeah, they range anywhere from like $500 to $2,000. Yeah, I think that was the range that I saw. Mm-hmm. I would say probably most of your colors are probably between $500 and $1,000, but there are a couple of those colors, especially on the CVOs, where they're $2,000 upgrade. So,
yeah, I remember seeing that.
Some of the new things is the 117 is now standard in the bikes. These are not CVOs; these are the base model fairing bikes. So the 117, and it is not the 117 VVT. It is just their standard 117. But it produces 105 horsepower at 5,000 RPMs. That's pretty good. With about 130 foot-pounds of torque. So
that's fair.
For stock bike, that's not too shady there. It's pretty good. Ride modes, I think that's good. They've been putting them on some of the CVO models, but I don't know, were they on the just the standard models last year? I don't think they were.
Yeah.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, for a couple of years, RDRS has been optional.
But this is actual choosing ride modes like rain, highway, sport, like you can on the STs last year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, there's more modes available on the STs.
Yes. I should have did a little more research into that, but digging all this up like it did or copying it down was, take more time than I had time for. So
yeah, I was hoping to talk to somebody at the dealership and get some firm answers on some of that, but they're busy.
Maybe from that's another story.
They knew you weren't buying.
Maybe
Likely.
From this episode, we can generate a kind of a list of maybe, say, 10 questions or so, and then we can go do a sit down with whomever will be willing to sit down with us and see if we can get some answers.
If we can find somebody that knows the answers.
Well, that's another thing. Won't be the guy that's trying to order my parts, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, he's busy too.
Yeah, that's the way that fits. Let's see, how does that? There we go. Is that going to stop? Is the cricket just going to keep going? Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. So next, Street Glide Ultra.
Yeah, I dig it. I like it.
I don't think they went wrong for sure.
Couple of things that I don't know.
Base price, guess it.
Ooh, base price. $32,679.
$30,749. It wasn't as high as I was expecting.
Yeah.
So from the Street Glide to the Ultra, there's $3,000 difference.
Yeah.
And what you get with that is the 2-up touring add-ons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that padded backrest, right?
Yep.
You get the tour pack, you get the lower fairings, which I like. I like
Mm-hmm.
the lines of the new lower fairings.
They did put the new ones on there. Yep.
Now, a lot of people are hating on the Street Glide Ultra. I really like it. I really like it. You get the mirrors from the Street Glide. The lines are a little more sporty.
You do have the new fairing style, so they didn't.
You do get the new
last year they had
fairing.
the old fairing. This year the new.
I don't understand the losing the speakers in the back.
yeah.
That one I'm a little. Why?
That's a good question. So that'd be one of our top 10 questions to ask somebody.
Why?
And why turn the Street Glide Ultra? Why not the Road Glide?
They didn't have as many road guide fairings to burn on the shelf.
No, I guess they didn't release a Road Glide Ultra, did they?
They did not. And the rumor is because the Road Glide Limited Ultras over the years have not sold and done as well as, and I can see that. I don't see near as many of them on the road as I do.
No, you
You
don't.
see an Ultra, if you see any kind of Ultra, even the CVO models over the years, they were. I've owned two, and they were both batwing fairings. You see, and you've got one, and it's a batwing fairing. They're just not as, 2022 they made two CVO Road Glide Ultra Limiteds, and it's just one of the few years they ever made, that combination. So, but I did some research on that, and that was one of the things I found. So
So you're telling me the Batwing is more popular than the fixed fairing, and that's why they chose to.
well, the popularity needs to be pinned there in saying that, yes, it's probably more popular, but it's because of it travels a little better, I feel like. And that's pretty much so your overall consensus across the board is that the Batwing travels better on long trips, high speeds, and things of that nature.
Okay.
I would concur with that. Having both,
Yes.
I agree with that statement.
Fair enough.
The newer lower fairings is impressive. So they did put the new Batwing fairing and the lowers, so that's got a kind of a whole new makeup on the front of it from that capacity.
It's definitely got a little more sport touring feel to it than maybe before.
I didn't look. Have you heard if the tour pack is a quick disconnect,
It is
or is
not.
it stationary?
It is rigid.
Okay. All right. So $30,749. They've got it in chrome and blacked out. Gray, black, blue, whiskey fire, and chrome, and gray, vivid black, whiskey fire, blue, iron horse, mystic shift, and blacked out. Overall, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 colors, and then 2 different trim packages. So they've done a lot of offers out there, a lot of options, I guess.
I really feel like the current Street Glide Ultra is like the Electra Glide Standard of the days past, though.
I could say that. I could agree with
Like there's just a couple of things that I feel like would really set that bike off. If you painted that inner fairing, man, what a difference that would make. And those of you that haven't, like my Tri-Glide, and I imagine all the Tri-Glides are this way, the inner fairing is not painted from the factory.
matte plastic.
And that was one of the first things I did to that bike was have that inner fairing swapped out. And that's what you're looking at when you're riding. And that was the best money I ever spent on.
You bragged, when
accessorizing
you
a
came back
motorcycle.
that trip, you bragged about that, Doc. That was,
Yeah.
it changed the entire look of the bike.
It did.
And I think I put in our text
From
group
the
the other day.
cockpit.
Yeah.
So-
I put in the text group the other day that, Fairing Exchange has got to be licking their chops.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're about to get a lot of business. One of the things that they did, because last year all the Ultras were the old fairing, so it had the old stereo, the old radio infotainment. So this one has the new system in it. So the new Ultra has the new fairing along with the new infotainment system and all the ride modes and all that kind of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes in at a whopping 866 pounds as it sits on the showroom floor. So, it's got the new liquid cooled cylinder heads. It's like the motors of some bikes got them last year, but this one's on there this year.
Mm-hmm.
It does have the 117. It is not a VVT. I didn't make that note here, but the only ones that I saw with VVT this year came in the CVO models.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten a chance to ride one of those. I don't need to. I don't want to.
Before we move on from the baggers.
Yep.
If
Well,
I may.
we got more baggers, but go ahead. No, we got
okay.
more. We got more, but you go ahead.
Oh, no, I know where you're going with this. My favorite bike's in there. But regarding paint, I will say thank you for Harley Davidson for not forcing any more of what I call Bronco colors on us. You know, your flat matte grayish blue, your flat gray. You know, you guys know what I mean by Bronco colors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Afraid I'm going to have to pair with DJ right now. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay.
Now, are you talking about matte flat colors?
Yeah, that.
So you're talking about Indian colors?
Yeah. Let's see.
And oddly enough, going to the dealerships and seeing the Indian bikes, like I look at them and go, that don't look too bad. I think that would look terrible on a Harley. I don't know why, but like Indian can sell it. I'm not a fan of some of the colors, but the red one, matte red, that's not too horrible. I mean,
yeah, I don't.
It's not something I would
hate
go
the Indians.
seeking,
I've never
but-
ridden one. We don't have a great dealer network for
No, we
Indian around here, so that's a big turnoff for me.
Bronco color.
Oh, okay.
No,
oh,
like that
Yeah.
that flat,
I got you.
not shiny, has no reflection to it at all.
No pearl,
No sheen.
Exactly.
no flake.
Yeah, I mean,
There you go, right there. Like, you know,
well, they've started doing like, back a few years ago when they started coming out with what's the gray colors, and there was another color that was pretty popular. It was like the gunship gray Harley did.
Yeah.
They put it on the CVO in 2018, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's a beautiful color!" And boats were putting it on their boats and high-end boats and cars. And then the very next year, they put it on a regular bike. Pissed all the CVO owners off, but those colors are were gotten really popular, but they've kind of seemed to back off now. It was a fad, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
yeah, that's entirely what I mean. Bronco's coming out with.
It's kind of like the old Dodge, the Chrysler Corporation colors. Remember those colors they did on those, the Dart?
Yep.
And some of those colors, like they were, it was almost like, what was another, Volkswagen, like they did them like that.
Yeah, they
orange,
did. They did, right.
Orange and brown and pink and so.
Anyway, sorry to.
No,
take
you're
us off
good.
topic.
You're good. That's what we're here for. We're just talking. So next, CVO Road Glide and Street Glide. This is not the ST, but this is the bike, CVO bike with electric locks that work.
Okay.
Remember, that was a big kicker last year when they come out with the ST. You got a few
Yeah.
things with the ST that you didn't get with the other one. One of them was you didn't get saddlebags that locked with the remote. So, price tag, guess.
Oh gosh, they had one on the floor when I was there, and that was one of the things I wanted was to know what the OTD was on it. And I couldn't get anybody to talk to me. No, $47,999.
You're closer than he was. $45,999.
Yeah,
I don't think they went up an awful lot on that price. I want to say it was 40. Was it 43 last year? So it went up a couple $1,000s, I guess. I don't think it was 45 last year.
yeah. That new Raven fade.
So there are
I
some
like
things that are new for the CVOs, or at least it's the way I'm interpreting. Feel free to correct me. The Raven Fade is one of the colors. It's got it listed down here to get into.
That's the one I like.
It's got the VVT 121, which is pushing 139 foot-pounds of torque and 115 horsepower off the showroom floor.
Nice.
Impressed.
That's good numbers.
Yeah. And that's just basic numbers.
Look,
That's all at 4,900
VVT
RPMs.
technology is, I mean, it's been around for a minute. It just made it to Harley, but other
Right.
manufacturers have been using it for a while. And it, you know, the thing with it is the power is available throughout the rev range. So
Correct.
I really want to ride one. I really don't need to ride one.
Let's go ride them together.
But it's
and then we'll pick our colors and bring them home.
I think that's going to be impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they've just got all that. I haven't heard any problems out of them. So hopefully any kinks that may or may not have been there, they've got them worked out. So, that's definitely, you know, I mean, it wasn't just a few years ago that they had the 114 and everybody was upgrading cams and other things to get to a 124. And now we're rolling off the floor with a 121. So, you know, it's just a matter of time. So,
Yeah.
So some of the things that come on these bikes, and I'll go over just two of them. One of them is called a VHC, which is a vehicle hold control system. They started that with the RDRS system in 2021. My 21 has it on it. And I can't tell you how many times on my 19 that I have hit that brake thinking it was going to stop, and it did not. But basically that is a hold where you pull back on the brake, on the front brake or the foot brake, until you feel a vibration, and it'll hold the bike on a hill or still until you're ready to take off if you need a hand free. The key feature of that, though, to remember, and I think this is one fail point with the design, is that it only will do it when it's in gear. It will not do it in neutral. So if I wanted to, you know, vehicle hold it at idle in neutral, sitting on a hill or in a parking lot, it would not. It has to be in gear, which means, you know, my throttle, my clutch hand's still going to be on the, which is fine. You know, if I pull up to a stop sign and, you know, I'm in first gear and I want to give my throttle hand a rest or something along those lines, or I want to reach for something, or, you know, whatever may be the case, I'm on a steep hill, going to be there for a minute. I pull back on it, it, you know, buzzes and locks the brake in. So that's pretty cool.
What vibrates? Where do you feel that sensation?
In my hands.
Okay.
In the handlebar. Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Yep.
I think you should write a letter, make a suggestion.
My Beamer's got that, and I've used it. Certainly. Only again, such a simple thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, GM calls it hill start assist.
Yeah.
It's been on their trucks for a long time. So,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not something that's new to the, you know, automotive or motorcycle world.